What's up, Mirandigas? We're back with another Persona 1 and 2 video. This time I'm going to talk about, this is a follow-up video of my last one where I talked about features and mechanics of Persona 1 and 2. I've seen a lot of discussion, and I've seen a lot of people say that, oh, Persona 1 and 2 aren't going to get get remakes because they aren't going to make that much money. To that, I say that's just wrong. First of all, let me just add this here, is that any Persona game that Atlus releases, I guess, except for some P5 spin-offs, because now Tactica has proven, though Reload was close around the corner, but any Persona game that Atlus releases, most fans will eat it up, and most of the time they're good games. Yeah, a lot of times they could be Persona dancing, but most of the times we'll eat it up, we'll enjoy it, and stuff like that. And this is not a hate, it's just we love Persona. Who cares? And another thing is that Persona 3, when this game was coming out, Atlus itself wasn't that aware, and a lot of people said that, oh, it's an old game of a remake, they should stop doing remakes, it's not gonna make them money. But let's talk about it. Persona 3 becomes fastest selling game in Atlus history within 1 million sales. Now this is a bit misleading now, because as of I'm recording, it's 10 May 2025 as of recording this video, but this was basically talking about this is February 8th. This is talking about a week. Now obviously, if you take out the charts, which is the fastest selling list, which is the most selling game or the fastest selling in a year or stuff like that, this could be different, but this is talking about a week. So that I'm trying to make sure that this isn't misleading. This article I'm not reading completely. I just want to let me find out. All right, it was right at the top. I'm stupid. Persona 3 Reload has become the fastest selling game in Atlus history, with more than 1 million copies sold in its first week. I get it. I'm getting an update. In its first week. Basically what it says is that it sold over 1 million copies. That does not mean in dollars. It means copies. You can, I guess, do a simple math. What was this game price? Was it 60 or 70? And then multiply with 1 million. But that's one of those things, is that it did good enough that, and you can calculate the revenue, I guess. And it did good enough that it was a surprise to a lot of people that a remake did so well. But to me, it wasn't a surprise. Now back to this. I gotta talk about this. When it comes to Persona games, there are different type of fans, but there are fans divided into 3 sectors, quadrants, or whatever you want to say. Basically, they're fans that have just played the P5 games. They've enjoyed. Maybe they've dabbled into Reload, because Reload is also a modern Persona game now. They've only played P5. Then there are fans that have played P5, P3, and P4. You get what I'm saying. P5 is the one game that is the I'm taking as the base, because it's the most famous and the most new. Famous, it depends. And there are fans that are in Persona 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 quadrants. Now, before anybody, I will tell you this. There are people that have only played Persona 3 and 4. There are people that have only played Persona 1 and 2. There are people that have only played Persona 1 or 4. There are different type of fans. You can just mix around, match it. There are people only played Persona 1 and 4 or 5 and 4. They exist. 2 and 3, they exist. That's not what I'm talking about. But the reason I'm talking about this is there are a lot of people that have never experienced Persona 1 and 2. For them, a remake for 1, a remake for 2 is like a new experience. This isn't something and this isn't and a lot of people I know, my brother, I always take his example, but he doesn't use the internet a lot. He doesn't, because he doesn't want to get spoiled with different media he consumes, because he takes his time to consume them. But the thing is basically this. So many Persona fans have not experienced Persona 4 even. This is I would say, again, take it with a grain of salt. I have no data on it. It's just what I've seen. Again, this is not factual. But Persona 4 is the second biggest Persona IP. Persona series, second biggest. It could even be one, seeing how like it has a lot more fans sometimes, I think, in P5. But like again, this, take it with a grain of salt. This is just my viewpoint. This is no data and stuff like that. But again, it's one of those things that there are a lot of people that haven't played P4. There are even a lot of people that haven't even played P5. But not saying P5 should get a remake, even though I made a video on it. But here's the thing: if these two get a remake, saying that oh they will not make money is just blatantly wrong, because they will make money, especially these two, because this, to me, I think this is the best Persona game, Eternal Punishment, and a lot of people also agree. Now let's talk about this. Atlus lead says he's liked, yeah, shut up, the notification, Persona 1 and 2, but you're not getting them anytime soon. It's just basically talking about back in the day when Metaphor got released and like they were showing it. It was basically Atlus said that Kazu Hishavida is well aware that they're bad, they are thinking about Persona 1 and 2 remakes, but the bad news is that if it ever happens, it doesn't like it will be soon. But here's the thing. This was 2024. I don't mind the wait. The reason is because I feel like the maximum, I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. But the maximum we can see, like both Persona 1 and 2 get remakes, but like I can see them like the maximum go for 2030. Which I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, that's a long time. What the hell, Atlus? But just hold your horses. Let's talk about this. We know Persona 4 Remake is coming. Now, is it getting a June announcement? Probably. Can't say for sure. I wouldn't want it because June announcement means it's coming on Summer Game Fest, which is a week or 1.5 weeks before Rido Remastered. And I have said this before, Atlus, separate your releases. Like, don't compete with yourself. So, I don't want them. I don't think Rido itself would hurt from it, but things have happened in the past, so I don't know. But again, when it says it's like it's gonna take a lot of time, you gotta also look at it from the perspective of, okay, Persona 4 Remake done. We'll see that next year, probably February release or June release, if it's on June. And if it's announced on June, we'll probably see it on a February release or maybe a this year October release. But the other thing I want to talk about is, people might not agree on this, but Persona 6 is also coming. I know people don't like Midori now because some of her leaks were fake and stuff. Some of his leaks were fake. You guys know what I'm talking about and stuff. But the thing with Midori was that I just feel like Midori was right. It was just Atlus decided, all right, we're changing everything. Because Atlus has been changing its operations. We've been hearing that for a long time. It's not even like, oh, it's a rumor. It's a fact that they have been changing their operations a lot. So the whole point is that, oh, it's taking too long. But you guys got to understand is that the next 2 to 3 years or maybe 4 years is literally fixed. Like, we know we're getting a lot of Persona stuff. So this being soon is, I feel like, isn't a bad thing, because we'll see, like, it will happen within a blink of an eye. Now, do I want Persona 1 remakes before Persona 4 remake? Yeah, but I don't mind a P4 remake. Now, I saw this article, the case of P4 remake. Like, this is an old article. Like, this is damn old. Like, this was like when Reload was announced. Because now because here's the thing. One game gets a remake, now endless possibilities. Any game can get a remake. That's why I made that like weird, wacky, fun video for P5 remake, because hey, 3 got a remake, anybody can get a remake. Like, that's it. When P3 Reload was announced, tremendous sense was in many ways, as players know, to give it massive popularity and the attention brought to the series, bringing all entries up to modern console, no-brainer. Golden was less known, while less known than 5 was already beloved and also made sense to port it to modern system. While remakes of Revolutions 1 and 2 are highly Persona 1 and 2 are highly requested, remaking them would yeah, but I disagree. I talked about how they can take the SMT framework in the features and mechanics video, and it just feels like they'll just mix and match some SMT features, because that's how some things are. That's how some of the base framework is in Persona 1 and 2. At least that's what I think. Tell me in the comments below about that. And they can take a lot of stuff from modern Persona. Persona found its humble beginnings as a franchise in the mid-90s as a spin-off of the Megami Tensei. Yeah, see? Series. Revolution Persona has a lot more in common with mainline SMT, yeah. See? Than it does with Persona, and similar things can be said about Persona 2. Oh, so I guess I was right, but like I don't really trust Game Rant a lot. The popular social simulation weren't really fleshed out until the third entry of the franchise and only came to be what fans now expect the series. Furthermore, the earliest titles are much darker. That doesn't really, tonally and in presentation, while they focus on young people. That doesn't really matter, because if you look at Persona games entirely, I know Reload, a lot of people talk about the whole green backgrounds and stuff like that, but look at just Persona itself. 5's presentation and like aesthetic is different. 4's is just way too different. Like 4 is the most, like if people say 5 is the most jolly, no, 4 is the most jolly. Like 5 still have some darker themes. Like 4 has darker themes, I'm not saying it doesn't, but like the aesthetic of it is like 4 is just like like Beneath the Mask, and then 4 is like like you guys know what I mean. Like there's like a different vibe to both this game, and then 3 is more like 3 is like, if you compare all 3, like 3 is the darkest. Like I know people talk about the green and Reload, but it's the darkest. Like you guys know what I'm saying, right? Not much else remains same in modern. While remakes of the Persona titles often regret what they would actually be is a massive mystery. Yes, I do agree, because even though we'll get P4 remakes, I don't really like, the only thing P4 remake will tell us for me is like what Atlus thinks linked episodes are. What are they trying to show us? Because in Reload, they were like compensation for male social links that were not available in the original game for the male route. What are they? If they are even in P4 remake, what if they just aren't in P4 remake? Because I just feel like, okay, they're not needed. That is a thing that could happen. Different like social simulation has wildly different art styles and like the influence. I guess this is before Reload released, right? Yeah. So a lot of like, this is speculation, are equally about hanging out with the party. They can just do that though. Like that's what I'm talking about, linked episodes. They can just do that around the remake of these games. How fatal it would be. Okay, yeah, this is something I have seen people complain, is that if Persona 1 and 2 remakes do come out, it will not be the same because of the social link aspect, or the social social hangout aspect, which I do agree. Especially with Persona 2, where there's like a bombing happen and then you're just hanging out with your friends. I think the way they could work linked episodes is, it's not like more about hanging out, but it's more like, let's just assume you're in Persona. I will not spoil the games, don't worry, but let's just assume something really terrible is happening and one of your characters just is like opening up to you. Yeah, dude, listen, this is just too much burden on my chest, man. Like this, like, I don't think I can do this. Like something emotional between two other characters, or maybe the main character and another side character, and then it's just they're talking about it, and that could be the linked episode, and at the end he's like, thanks dude, man, I appreciate it, like that really helped me. And then they could be like, okay, this character has gotten X amount of buffs, boom. Like stuff like that could be added. They don't just need to do hangouts with linked episode. It could just be, man, dude, like man to man, heart to heart, like stuff like that. A fully faithful remake of do it lightly go against the taste of modern Persona fans. Well, yeah. On the other hand, Persona 2, a title that fewer. It's funny. I said this before, so no, not they. I feel like they will keep the fewer thing, but I feel like they won't keep it as fewer. Maybe they could just change his name and make him a skeleton. Skeletor. This probably raises questions about how the adaptation works, since it's two separate but worthwhile one. Okay, let's just talk about it. Remakes of the first 2% in order release would likely split the difference. Old school. I don't think so. I mean, yeah. Basically talking about like how it like, because of social links and the serious tone being removed. I don't think the serious tone would be removed. It more so like social links and stuff, like adding could like make it as a, and then the remix could. A lot of people need to, I gotta talk about this. a lot of mechanics in P5 are from Persona 1 and 2, like the context system and stuff. I guess and the weapon system, like guns and stuff. Like, this isn't just, oh, Persona 5 just defined genre. Like, yeah, it did, but it took those mechanics and polished them. It's not like, oh, gun mechanic is in Persona 5 only. Like, it's not like that. Like, it's actually more complicated. It's like Persona 1 and 2 had, I guess 2 didn't, right? Gun mechanics. No. 1 had these mechanics, and then the context system. Like, yeah, however, the art style would need to be more in line. By splitting, basically it's talking about how social links and the modern tone of Persona games could ruin 1 and 2 remakes and divide the fans. I do agree somewhat, but it's one of those things where I feel like if they hit the nail right, because here's the thing, they're still a company, they want to make money. It's not like they hurt. Like, I won't bash on Game Rant because this is prior to Reload's release, so no bashing on Game Rant. But here's the thing, they could just learn from what they did with Reload. Again, we'll look at what 4 Remake is like and talk about it. Maybe it's foggy. Now let's talk about this. There's been a lot of memes going on with Persona 1, like people keep hitting with walls, and then people are like opening Reload and hitting on walls. Oh, this is peak gameplay, and then P5X hitting on walls, peak gameplay. There's been a lot of meme on X, on Twitter. I like to say Twitter, but X for the moderns. Here's the thing. It's not that bad. Once you get the hang of it, like, if I go play now P1, like, I'd probably get hit the walls, but it's one of those things where you get, it's one of those things, it has jank controls, but they're like, you can learn and understand these jank controls. Now, let's talk about 1 and 2 I wanted to add in this video before ending, is that what basically I want to talk about is that, why don't they port the games? I have been saying that. Now, it makes sense they don't, because ports will not make money. And I guess ports also take costs. Like, their ports won't make. Now, I want to talk about 1 and 2. I'm sorry. This is somebody's, I guess, playthrough. I just took Google, like, put the picture. P1 sucks. I'm sorry, graphically. This is also okay. This is a mess. I'm sorry. Now, I love P1 story. No hate to this game. It looks horrendous, but not horrendous, but it's like outdated. I shouldn't hate on the game. But let's talk about P2. Am I like, let me zoom that in. Sorry for the terrible picture. But P2, it looks really good. Like, I know people are gonna say, wait, what? P2, I'll keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. This looks like a modern indie title. Like, you know how a lot of indie games look like, with their own aesthetic and art style, with like 2D pixel art style. This isn't, I wouldn't say this is pixel, it's more sprite based, but like, people who have more knowledge can correct me. But this 2D art style, like, and the camera angles and the reactions, like P2, like, I would say have aged better. Like, people might say, what? No, it has aged better. Not because, oh my god, graphics are increasing and P2 is reaching that peak. No, because indie titles exist. Indie games exist. So they can just take this game and port it. Now, obviously, it depends on how much money it makes, and it is connected to P1, but I still think people play. Just add some quality life changes. But P2 looks really good. There's no hate on P2. P1, I'm sorry to say, it looks... you feel the game. So that's my thoughts on Persona 1 and 2. Like, will it make money? Does it deserve the remake? The answer is yes, and yes, it will. Simple. A lot of people that say Atlus keeps doing remakes. I'm telling you right now, most of you. All right, comment below what Persona games you have played, completed, or like even played or tried, like from the main line. Spin-offs, sure, add them if you like, add the spin-offs. What Persona games have you played? The reason I want to say that is I want to see how many of you have played Persona 1 and 2. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to make a video on it. Should I? Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not thinking of making a video on it. It's more so like I just want to look into it from the perspective of how many Persona games have been played by the fans. How many fans have played 1, 2, 3, and 4. Add this as well. Gotta give love to Joker. But like, it's more so I want to see these guys. Also, Kotone, I'll fight for you even if you're not in the Switch 2 announcement. Alright, my ranty guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, click on notification bell. I'll see you guys next time with another Persona, Shin Megami, Dragon Ball, Fairy Tail, whatever video. Consider subscribing, trying to make this YouTube thing actual thing. I'm looking here to stop recording. Tell me if you're excited about Persona 1 and 2 Remake. And I'm saying that as I know it will come. But it will. I'm looking here to stop recording. Bye, 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 bye.